Hello students, in the previous class we discussed the three main phases of seed certification, that is receipt and scrutiny of application, then the second one verification of seed source, then the third one field inspection. So continuation with the previous class, we will discuss the further stages of seed certification. So in the third phase, that is field inspection, continuation with the third phase of seed certification. So now let us know what do you mean by field counts. So actually, field inspection is mainly done to know the factors or the field standards which can cause the irreversible damages to the genetic purity of crop. But it is highly impossible to examine each and every plant which are present in our field farm or a seed farm. So that's why the field counts are taken by the field inspector. So what do you mean by field counts? The field counts are nothing but these are the minimum number of plants that the field inspector has to verify for the some of the factors which can cause the irreversible damages to the genetic purity. So it is necessary to take a minimum of 5 counts up to the 5 acres of land, and each additional count should be taken for increasing every 5 acres of land. So that is given in this table. You can see here. So up to 5 acre of land, the field inspector has to count minimum 5 counts. For additional increase of the 5 acres of land, that is 6 to 10, one additional count should be taken by the field inspector. So in case of 6 to 10 acre of land, field inspector has to count 6 counts. So 11 to 15 acres of land, it is 7 counts. 16 to 20 acres of land, it is 8 count. And 21 to 25 acres of land, if I have, then the field inspector has to count for 9 counts. So and so on. So this is about the field count. Now let us know the double count. So double count has to taken by the field inspector if the seed crop that doesn't conforms the prescribed standards for any factor, then in that situation the field inspector can go for the second count. So if the first set of counts shows the factors which are more than the twice of the maximum permitted, then there is not necessary to take the second count or double count. So on the completion of the double count, the field inspector has to assess the average of the both the counts, that is first and second count average that he has to take, and it should not be exceeds the minimum permissible limit. This is about the double count. So number of plants for each count. So how many the minimum number of plants can count in each count. So for example, in case of closely spaced crops, it is of 1000 plants. So each count consists 1000 plants. He has to verify 1000 plants in one count in case of closely spaced plants. In case of medium spaced crops, so it is 500 plants per count. So if one count taken by the field inspector in case of medium spaced crop, it is nothing but he has to count minimum 500 plants in one count. And in case of wider spaced crops, it is 100 plants. In tillering plants, it is 1000 heads. So he has to consider the minimum number of plants in each count for the differently spaced crops. So now let us know what are the points that the field inspector has to observe before counting. So all the plants which are falling in each count, he must examine for each character. In case of hybrid seed production, hybrid seed field, the prescribed number of field counts should be taken by the seed certification or agency or the field inspector in each parent separately. So then the rejection of seed field. So if the field is not conforming to the any required standards for any factor, then the field inspector has power to reject the field. So the rejection letter should be given to the grower immediately for showing the reasons for the rejection, and also the grower should be convinced for the rejection of the seed field by showing the contaminants. So this is about the third phase, that is field inspection, and some of the points related to the field inspection. Now let us see the fourth phase of seed certification, that is the post-harvest inspection. The personnel or the staff from the seed certification agency should inspect the field during harvesting and the post-harvesting stage. So that there should not be any mechanical mixtures and the seed that is not handled badly during the crushing and after the activities. Then the seed is sent to the processing unit. After the harvesting, the seed should be sent to the processing unit for further processing of the seed with the threshing certificate. Then the personnel from the seed certification agency will be inspecting the seed processing plant to avoid the mechanical mixtures and the damages that cause to the seed during processing. So this is about the post-harvest supervision by the seed certification agency. So you can see here the seed certification agency after the harvesting, when the seed is under processing unit, so he'll be checking some of the seed standards and thereby he'll be avoiding mechanical mixtures in the processing. So then the fifth stage is seed sampling and testing. So the representative from the seed certification agency, he will be drawing some representative sample from the seed lot at the time of processing or after the processing, and he'll send that sample that he taken from the processing unit to the seed testing laboratory for the further evaluation. Then in the seed testing laboratory, the sample will be evaluated for the different seed standards such as physical purity, genetic purity, inert matter, the crop seeds, weed seed, germination percentage, moisture percentage, and so on. So after knowing the quality parameters after the testing, if the results are under the permissible limit, then the seed certification agency will give certificate. So that is the sixth stage, grant of certificate, tagging, labeling, and the finally sealing. So after receiving the satisfactory report or results from the seed testing laboratory, the tagging, labeling, and the sealing of the bag will be done under the supervision of the seed certification agency. So under the special circumstances, the advanced tags will be given to the grower or a producer up to the extent of the 75% of the seed lot. Tag and the seal should be in accordance with the general seed certification requirements. And affixing of the tags and the seal on the containers that completes the process of seed certification. So these are the 6 different phases of seed certification. So one has to follow to get a certificate for his class of seed production. So then the control of plot testing. It is nothing but conducting the grow out test for all hybrids. So in case of hybrid seed production, grow out test is must to know the genetic purity and to check the efficacy and the accuracy of the work done by the seed certification agency as well as the grower. The main grow out test is mainly done to know the genetic purity of a crop variety or a hybrid. In case of hybrid, grow out test is must. Then the validity period. If I get a certificate once, then how long I can use this certificate or how long I can go for selling that produce. So the validity period of that certificate or the produce, that will only for a 9 months from the date of testing of the sample. Remember, validity period of the certificate is only for 9 months from the date of testing of the samples. If the seed lot or a seed which is not sold within the stipulated period, if I am unable to sell that the class of seed which I produce within the 9 months, then it can be revalidated for a period of up to 6 months if the seed lot meets the required seed standards. So within the 9 months, if I am unable to sell the seed produce, then I have to resubmit it to the seed certification agency. Once again, they'll check for the quality parameters. If the seed confirms required seed standards or the quality parameters, then the certificate will be extended to the up to 6 months. That is the revalidation period of up to 6 months. The seed can be revalidated as long as it meets the prescribed seed standards, and for each revalidation, the validity period will be extended up to the 6 months. So then the revocation of certificate. So if the seed certification agency is unsatisfied for his the certificate that he given to the grower or a producer, so if the seed certification agency feels the certificate is obtained by a grower or a producer by misrepresentation or by misconduct or malpractices, then the seed certification agency has the power to withdraw or revoke the certificate. Then appeal against the seed certification agency. So in case of if the field is rejected, seed plot is rejected by the seed certification agency, but the grower is unsatisfied with the decision of the seed certification agency, in such case the grower or a producer, he can go for appealing to the appellate authority, so, which is specified by the state government. So the appeal should be made to the appellate authority within 30 days from the receiving of the rejection letter by remitting the prescribed fee of 100 rupees. And ultimately the decision which is made by the appellate authority, that is the final, and it is binding on the seed certification agency as well as the seed grower. So this is all about the seed certification and the different phases of seed certification. So this completes the seed certification chapter. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe my channel, share it to your friends. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section.